Hey, and what is up guys? My name is Yuris, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how I built this 3-meter long riverbed aquarium behind me. Let's get started. We started by taking down the lights so we have enough space for working. Next, the aquarium was flipped with the backside up in order to attach a frost film. A frost film is going to hide anything behind the aquarium and allow to attach RGB backlight at a later point. To attach the frost film, you always want to clean the surface first and fully soak it with either glass cleaner or the soapy water afterwards, as this will make pushing out red bubbles a breeze. The bigger the aquarium, the more likely you're gonna need helping hand to remove the protection layer from the frost film. As you can see, we struggled quite a little bit, but finally got it sorted. Thanks to the soaked backside, you can now move the frost film around and try to match two sides perfectly parallel so you have less cutting work to do. Once the frost film is aligned, use a plastic card to scrape out trapped air and liquid bubbles. Start from the inside and work your way to the outside. This way you make sure no bubbles are left, and it's worth checking twice as it will be difficult to fix afterwards. Next, use a razor blade to cut away excess film. Start at a corner and cut along the edge of the glass at an approximately 45-degree angle. Pro tip: if you have enough time, allow the frost film to dry first for 24 hours before cutting the excess. This will make the process a lot easier. After the frost film was attached, we flipped back the aquarium and brought back the lighting. By the way, the Twinstar LEDs were suspended with Liti Aquaria Universal Mounting System, which is super affordable and allows suspending all kinds of different LEDs. To learn more about the system, check out the link in the description. Before starting the build process, I checked out the hardscape, which has been collected by the owner. The rocks are some kind of basalt boulders he picked from a local landscaping supply store. I think they look fantastic and will perfectly suit the composition I have in mind. I decided to start with a layer of Tropica soil to build height before adding the first stones. With the moderate substrate slopes in place, I started adding the rocks. Largest rocks on the outside first, slowly transitioning towards the center with smaller rocks. Once the main stones were in place, I added more soil to build up the slopes really high. That will create sense of a cross-section and allow plants to grow out of water. Now comes the most important tool for aquascapers: the paintbrush. You won't believe it how much you need it until somebody takes it away from you. Trust me. I like to use a paintbrush to smooth out soil and cosmetic sand between the hardscape. This is probably the most zen-like part when building an aquascape. Next, I arranged the stones in the central area of the composition. It was the most difficult part, as this is where the slopes fade out and connect. It is important to allow for enough negative space and enough complexity at the same time to make the composition look interesting. Once all large stones were in place, I added some medium-sized pebbles to add more detail to the hardscape. Just in case, I brought some ancient juniper wood with me, and the owner asked me to try it out. He really liked the outcome, so the wood remained inside the composition. To keep the wood secured and prevent it from floating, I glued the wood in place with the liquid superglue and cotton pads technique. Thanks to the characteristics of cyanoacrylate-based superglue, it is safe for both fish and shrimps. To complete the hardscape and cap the soil, which is going to reduce the mixing with cosmetic sand, I added a layer of fine gravels. Bio Heaven sand is distributed evenly in the center of the aquarium. A paintbrush is used again to move sand around and create an even layer. Finally, Bio Cimarron gravel is sprinkled strategically in selected locations around the large pebbles to create a nice blend towards the cosmetic sand. With the hardscape complete, it is time to take a step back and enjoy the results of our work. Pay attention to the sense of flow created by strategic use of round pebbles, driftwood and various types of gravel and cosmetic sand. At this point, it already looks like a dried out riverbed and the owner is very happy with the progress. Now let's get back to work. A planting map is created by placing plant cups and labels inside the aquarium. This helps envision the mature state of the layout as well as budget with the amount of plants. I begin planting from the outside, simply taking one cup at a time and transferring the plants into the soil. Plants that will grow out of water are Pogostemon deccanensis, previously known as Pogostemon erectus, Lobelia cardinalis mini, and Bacopa caroliniana. Majority of the in-between space is planted with Eleocharis pusilla, as this carpeting plant doesn't need frequent trimmings and will allow a simpler maintenance routine. To speed up the planting process, the owner has joined me and started planting from the other half of the aquarium. Finally, Physidens moss was applied using the moss mud method. The moss mud what, you may ask? Let me explain. For sure you've heard about dry start. So, this is your way to dry start with moss. All you need is a teaspoon of soil, your moss, and enough water to keep the mix fluid. Add all ingredients into a mixer and blend until you get a smooth consistency. Don't be afraid if your moss snippets are shredded tiny. It will regrow from the tiniest fragments. Just don't tell your significant other, as it can cause unpredictable consequences. The moss mud mix is then applied with a paintbrush on selected rock surfaces as well as the inner segments of the driftwood. The trick is not to use too much of it. In case you cannot help yourself and go crazy painting all over the place, don't worry. You can later use a toothbrush to undo your paintings. Finally, the aquarium is sprayed wet and is covered with cling film to allow the moss to attach itself to the hardscape before it is flooded.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It was a fantastic day I spent here with my friends, keeping this aquarium for him, making his dream come true. And we need your help. Please let us know which fish we should add into this aquarium. Obviously, all the river loaches, I don't know, stream-like fish can go inside. And yeah, if you want to see updates on this aquarium, make sure you subscribe to this channel, smash the like button, show me your support. And guys, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Cheers, goodbye.